Welcome to The Great Listener. I'm Obi Amechi, and today we have an interesting topic. I'm laughing because it may be seemingly controversial, but not entirely, at least not to me. Uh, I've been hearing about this soft girl era, and despite its trendiness, there's a lot that goes into women wanting to live in their soft girl era. Now, as I looked at it on the surface, I thought about the importance of woman softness. It makes sense. So I wanted to dig a little bit more deeper before I even created a video to talk about it. And like I said, at face value, it seems like a very, very positive thing, especially for women and ways for them to um, explore and understand their femininity. And as we go into their femininity, I said, okay, let me read what the web is talking about when they're talking about soft girl era. So here it's stated, the soft girl era emphasizing self-care, a more peaceful lifestyle, and embracing one's feminine side. It's about prioritizing kindness, love, and tranquility, often involving a shift away from survivor mode. All amazing things. With a focus on inner peace and happiness. It's also talking about rejecting negative influences and surrounding oneself with supportive people. Now, this is amazing. I think every woman should be in their soft girl era. And I don't think that is the reason why I'm making this video today, because I think everything about that is uplifting. Everything about that is um, what I would expect for a woman to want to experience and feel. And I believe if they are in a relationship, their partner would want for their partner to feel and experience that as well. I think it gets a little bit more controversial when we think of where did this even come from and how is it getting presented to the world in a sense. Um, so looking it up, it says it was kind of like started with Ari Lennox's song. Shout out to Ari Lennox. I think she's an amazing artist. Love her music. But from there, maybe a little bit before then, a little bit after then, soft girl era became more so this thing that women desire for their lives. Now, when you think of self-care, more peaceful lifestyle, embracing one's feminine side, anyone would say, yes, that's amazing. I think the challenge is when we get on social media and we see different versions of what that can mean. Um, there are other versions of what this can mean, and I think it leads into the idea of saying, I want to live in a soft girl era in my relationship. Let's say singleness, I get it. This is self-practice for when you even get into a relationship if you decide to. And these are things that you should prioritize and really value. But what's being seen on social media is walking in this soft girl era with an understanding or a perception that this means your partner has to do A, B, and C to create this environment for you. So, for an example, I want a man that plans everything. I want a man um, that caters to me, which is great. These are all great things. I want a man that doesn't give me no stress, doesn't question what I'm doing, doesn't. It's just a whole myriad of things that make soft girl era seem like that same narrative of a fairy tale ending. So the difficulty in that is we may have women believe that this is something that they deserve, not realizing that there's more to living a soft girl era life than just saying, I want this and snap, it should happen. No matter who I'm with, they just should know this is what I deserve, what have you. Part of the reason I say that is soft girl era doesn't necessarily have to do with anybody else. This is self-care, things you do for yourself, a more peaceful lifestyle. This is something that you create for yourself. Embracing your feminine side, that's learning more about yourself to do that. Prioritizing kindness, love, and tranquility. Now, these are things also that it takes time for you to practice in order for you to live in that space. It doesn't mean that being in a relationship, my partner needs to make sure that I don't have to feel at all out of peace. I don't have to feel at all stressed or what have you. I feel like that sets you up for failure. And as someone that cares very dearly about women, as I value women, I don't want women to set themselves up for something that may be very, very challenging to attain, which is a soft girl era lifestyle, in the sense of finding a partner that does pretty much a lot for them, pretty much almost everything for them, in order for them to feel at peace and not have to worry about anything. Now, the only challenge I really have with that is when we're thinking about partnership, there's always a give and take. There's always something that has to be given and provided to show that you're a part of this unit. You're a part of this unity. But if the mindset is, oh, I just need to be in this space, then you're not considering your partner. You're not considering happiness from your partner. All you're thinking about is, what is good for me? And if you're thinking about what is just good for me, that's a setup for disaster. You're not in the space of thinking, is what I choose and really what I want for myself, is it considerate of my partner? Is it making him feel like how he should feel? As I want to feel more feminine, is it making him feel more masculine? Or is there a disconnect? So usually that also comes from a place of being healed. When you are both healed, then that soft girl era will match that masculine energy, and it gels. But if you guys still aren't healed, then there may even be some language where you're trying to get to that soft girl era by telling people what you want, telling your partner, no, you need to do this. This is how it needs to be for me. This is what it needs to be. This is what you need to do. And as a result of that, you're trying to create a dream that is in a box that only you can see, and is an unrealistic expectation for your partner. No one's saying don't have expectations. No one's saying don't have standards. But it's important to recognize that in a relationship, no one ever gets 100% of what they need or desire or want. And that's the challenge. I don't want you ladies to see this soft girl era as everything just needs to show up the way I want to, or I'm out of there. Also, when we see this soft girl era thing like trending online, we're talking to influencers. We're watching influencers. These are like top 3 to 5% of people that may have 200, 300K, 1,000. Well, excuse me, 200K, 300K in their income, where their life may be set up differently than yours. So the things that you may expect for yourself based on what you're seeing may not be a reality for your lifestyle or your partner's lifestyle. So what does that soft girl era look like for you and your partner? So what does peace look like for you, where you're still contributing, you're still being a part of that unit, You're still showing value. You're still um, feeling valued without it having to look like this whole idea of I just want to travel, sit back. That's 3 to 5% of people, and we're living in a world where you could take that 3 to 5% and then try to embed that in your mind and dismantle and disrupt your entire life. End up being single for longer than you need to be. It's about wisdom, but it's also about that femininity, getting in touch, self care. So that's preparing yourself for living your soft girl era, but what that really means in partnership. If you want to live your soft girl era by yourself, go ahead and do that. And you don't got to worry about nobody else. But when you're dealing with a partner, you also have to think, how do I make my partner feel good? Being at peace is also making other people around you feel included, feel loved. And don't take it from me. Take it from a biblical scripture that I'm going to read really quickly that I feel like has made me really want to talk about this. So I'm going to read from Proverbs 31. I know everyone hears about a Proverbs 31 woman, but I'm not reading it from that lens. No, a Proverbs 31 woman doesn't mean that the woman has to be perfect. But as you listen to the scripture, I want you to think about the value in what is being shared here. Not from an old school mindset as far as like sewing or what have you, but from maybe your lifestyle that you have now or a friend's lifestyle that you can see happening now. How do we make it relatable to now? So I'll just read this, and as I read it, we'll just dissect it a little bit. Okay, the sayings of King Lemuel, an inspired utterance his mother taught him. Okay. Yeah, I didn't know that was how it started. Listen, my son. Listen, son of my womb. Listen, my son, the answer to my prayers. That was like 3 listens, so hopefully we're listening. The great listener right here. Do not spend your strength on women, your vigor on those who ruin kings. It is not for kings, Lemuel. It is not for kings to drink wine, not for rulers. I'm going to skip down. Not for rulers to crave beer, lest they drink and forget what has been decreed. Okay, actually, I'll keep going. And deprive all of the oppressed of their rights. Let beer be for those who are perishing, wine for those who are in anguish. Let them drink and forget their poverty and remember their misery no more. So it's just telling me what I'm hearing here is just be sharp. Don't allow your life circumstance to put you in a rut where you're no longer striving. Okay? That's for men and women here. Speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves, for the rights of all who are destitute. Speak up and judge fairly. Defend the rights of the poor and needy. Beautiful. Now we're getting into what usually is trending from Proverbs 31. A wife of noble character, who can find? She is worth far more than rubies. So this is a big up. This is a partner saying that this woman is of value. She is worth far more than rubies. So let's start from there. This woman is seen in a light where they're like, wow, I want to come home. I want to see her more. It's something to experience. That doesn't just mean physically. It's something to experience. Noble character is what we're talking about. Her husband has full confidence in her and lacks nothing of value. Her husband has full confidence in her and lacks nothing of value. There's nothing lacking in value because he trusts her, right? This to me reminds me of a soft girl era. There's confidence when you have that. There's confidence when you are doing self-care. So all of this is connected here. She brings him good, not harm, all the days of her life. She selects wool and flax and works with eager hands. She is like the merchant ships, bringing her food from afar. She gets up while it is still night, and she provides food for her family in portions for her female servants. So she's a caretaker, a giver. She provides food for her family. In the scripture, it said she gets up while it's still night. In this era, you may not have to go out and pick up, pick the tomatoes and what have you, and cook and all that. You can get that delivered to you and what have you. But at the same time, she's considerate. She's thinking about her partner. She's thinking about her family. She's thinking about, oh, how can I support my. But I don't think it's a moment of, oh, I'm stressed, I got too much to do. I think she's saying, no, this is something that is is caring. I'm caring. This is something that shows her compassion for others, right? Not only does she do that for her family, in portions for her female servants. She's thinking about other women. She's thinking about people that have to come and work in her household or around her. How can I also be compassionate to their lives? This is a noble woman. This is soft girl era, right? There's nothing yet here where you're in survival mode. But we'll talk a little bit more about that too. She considers a field and buys it. Out of her earnings, she plants a vineyard. So this is a woman that's business savvy. Not to say every soft girl era requires you to be business savvy, but it requires you to be a thinker, right? And one thing I can say, and I think that's why this passage in Proverbs is really really strikes me and is very powerful, is because it shows how valuable and how important a woman is to the family unit. She brings intellect. She brings wisdom. She brings compassion. She brings thoughtfulness. She brings strategy. This is what a noble woman is. This is what I see as a soft girl era moment. So you can have that self-care. You can be at peace and have a peaceful life when your mind is clear, when you're thinking about ways to be compassionate and consider others. Now, none of this shows someone that's thinking only about themselves. And this goes for men and women. When you're in a partnership, it's never about just thinking about yourself. Like, let's say your husband or your man, he's not very a social individual, but he's praising you by the way he knows best how. Don't get into the habit of seeing that and saying, oh, he doesn't care about me because he didn't do yada, 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 and yada, yada, yada. But he did do this and that. So when you see what he's doing, recognize that. So you can still be in your peace. So you can still witness what it means to love. And that love looks differently. But if you think people love the way you do, it's going to be hard for you to ever see that you're being appreciated. And part of that is we're two different individuals. Not everything's going to happen the way you want it to be. But you can tell when a person cares. You can tell when a person loves you, even if it doesn't come back the way you see it. As long as you see it from an accurate lens and you're not comparing it to what you see on TV. Oh, he cares because he got his woman 30 bags and opened the door for her and kissed her 40 times. Yes, that's amazing. But know who you're with. Doesn't mean that your partner can't step it up, but it does mean meet your partner where they are. And if you recognize that they are showing up, acknowledge that. That's your femininity. Acknowledge that. Say, hey, babe, I appreciate what you just did. For an example, you did something amazing for your husband or your boyfriend, and he comes back and he starts doing the dishes and taking out the trash, and his spirit is a little bit more raised. He's a little bit more happier. That's an example of his appreciation, right? That's one scenario. Another scenario, your partner may say, hey, yo, I really appreciate what you did for me. That really was everything. And not take out the trash, right? So there's different forms of how we appreciate our partner, but notice it, right? Okay. So he praises her. It didn't say how he praises her, but for me, I think the best way is verbally for it to be heard. That's the easiest and the first level of how it can happen. But if it's not happening, remember your femininity. Remember your soft girl era. Use your insight, use your understanding, use your compassion to know how to approach your husband or your boyfriend so that they can actually not put up a wall, but put up an understanding like, wow, I need to try to show her more appreciation. Many women do noble things, but you surpass them all. Look at that compliment. Many women do noble things, but you surpass them all. Just to let you know that there's women that do so many amazing things, but even in this relationship that you may have, your partner's trying to show you, hey, you surpass them all. In your soft girl era, this is the type of woman you'll be. You will surpass them all as long as you look at it accurately, okay? It's not meant to be alone. It's meant to be shared. Any great feeling you have is meant to be shared, especially with your partner, your loved one. No one's meant to feel good alone, right? It's not okay if you go online and you make it seem like, oh, I'm traveling, doing all this, and your partner is struggling because they just can't handle it. Be in touch, be in tune with your partner. Check out your discernment. As I keep going, charm is deceptive and beauty is fleeting. So getting to this point, it's really important not to focus on physical attraction. If you think you deserve to be in your soft girl era because you're attractive or you have a banging body, you're missing it. Beauty is fleeting. Some of us will think, some women may think, well, because I look good, I should be treated like this. No. You're not a statue. You actually have a mind, a beautiful one at that. You have capabilities, you have strengths. Apply those to what you're in. Apply that to your soft girl era. Don't think your beauty alone means, oh, this is what I deserve. You will get caught up looking on social media and seeing those women with a lot of followers, and because they have a lifestyle like that, you're gonna say, well, that's what I need to live like. But no, the word is telling you right now, charm is deceptive and beauty is fleeting. So charm alone, even as a man, if I'm charming a woman, it can be very deceptive, especially if it's just because of beauty. That doesn't tell you that someone is really connected to you. Because when those things are gone, then what? What do you have then? So as we get back to this place of this biblical word here in Proverbs, what is your foundation? As you're in a relationship, you need to stand on something. And in this era now, this whole soft girl era, it's not meant to stand on anything. It's meant to say, show up in this way because you deserve it, girl. And that's cool, but what is your foundation? What are you looking to obtain? Do you really want a partnership, or do you want the perks without the connection? The connection is so much better because you're doing all of this under God. Your soft girl era is meant to be under God. Just like your man's masculinity is meant to be under God. Then you guys will connect because you're on the same page. You understand the value of using your heart, of connecting and what have you. Okay, charm is deceptive and beauty is fleeting, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. Now, if you fear the Lord, automatically, just so you understand, fearing the Lord takes all the attention away from you. You say, you know what? This relationship isn't about me alone. When you feel the Lord, when you fear the Lord, you understand that. You say it's bigger than me. This is legacy. This is generational. God put a seed in me, not for me alone, but for those moving ahead in the future. So you think, do I want my future generations to operate in the same way? What if they find an honorable and noble man? How do we want this legacy to be run? And God is shaping that. He's showing us, by showing us right here, what it means to be a noble woman. And I think it's a beautiful thing. You can't say this isn't beautiful. Everyone has a gift. If you're afraid to step into your gifts, that's another question. That's another situation. But we all have those gifts. Press into that. Say, what is it? What is it, Lord? What do you have for me? Then you'll start discovering the beauty in what we're reading here. So honor her for all that her hands have done, and let her works bring her praise at the city gate. So honor her for all that her hands have done. All of the work that you have put in. That just brings me back to your soft girl era. There's a lot of work that's required to get this soft girl era. It doesn't mean sitting back. It means you're thinking about rejecting negativity. So you're conscious about your circle. You're conscious about what you put in your ear gates, what you put in your eye gates. You're living authentically, meaning you're being true to yourself, not conforming to external pressures or comparing yourself to people you see in different areas. No, you're being authentic because you know your reality. You know your circumstance. You know your partner. You know what they enjoy. You should. You know what they love. You're thinking about your environment. And in accordance to that environment, you're embracing your femininity. You're prioritizing your mental health. And when you prioritize your mental health, it's more than just saying, I shouldn't have to do nothing. I should just be able to relax and travel. No. This isn't a fairy tale. And in some people's lives, it is like a fairy tale. But for 98% of us, we're excited to work. God has put us here to work. Whether it's a physical type of job, whether it is creating something, whether it is designing something, you have the gift to do something. And it's finding that partner, finding that match, right? That sees that. And you guys come together. You share your gifts and talents. If you're that good at organizing, you help organize things. You don't say, well, because I want to be in my soft girl era, I just want my man to organize everything. No. If you have an eye for it, take initiative. The guy, your partner, your husband, he'll take initiative on other parts. Do I think women need to be protected, taken care of? Absolutely. But that is a partner thing. Women are not damsels in distress. Their arms are not broken. Their legs are not broken that they need to be protected like, oh, get away from them. No. Protection can mean so many different things. Y'all got me going, but I'm done with that. All right. So just to bring it back together, I really love the idea of this soft girl era. And my only challenge, and I feel like the truth about it is, don't get confused by what you may want it to look like. You may want it to look like something that only benefits you. It is not about only living for yourself. When you think of your soft girl era, think about, how does this enhance who I am? How does this enhance my partner I'm with or my future partner? Recognize the things, your strengths. Use this as an opportunity to say, wow, this is preparing me for a partner that is going to match me. This is preparing me for a partner that I can submit to, that I can actually be in communion with, be on the same page with. But it also reminds you that in your soft girl era is not something that only starts and begins with self. It's more selfless than I could say, because you've already gone through the process of healing, doing the self-care, understanding the values of love, removing those circles around you that are not positive. So I'm a big fan of this soft girl era. And I just hope that through this message, through this word that I'm sharing with you all, that you see the challenges that can come with it. Challenges when we watch social media, challenges when we are around people that think we should live a certain life, challenges when it's not foundational in scripture, when it's not based on something substantial. If it's just based on what we want for ourselves, we're creating a pit for ourselves. Unless you want to be single, and that's cool. Singleness is a beautiful thing. It's preparing you for when you do get a partner, or if you want to stay single, then you're not accounting to anyone else. So it doesn't make any difference. So that's also beautiful. But continue to look deep and grow. Continue to look deep and grow. You're listening to the great listener. Awesome to be with you. Peace.